What's going on, gamers? Today we're going to be taking a look at Outriders Worldslayer and some of the legendary weapons that you'll be able to obtain when the DLC hits. So if you want to know what they're all about and which ones we know at the moment and their tier 3 mods, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be going over some of the new weapons that are going to be dropping for us in the upcoming Outriders DLC Worldslayer. If you enjoy this content and you'd like to see more from me, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon, and of course a thumbs up would be appreciated if you like this video. But from there we're going to be jumping straight over and looking at our first legendary weapon. And that is none other than this one right here, the Deathscape. The assault rifle, a legendary, they're all going to be legendaries, the one we're covering. This one is absolutely amazing. It is almost definitely designed to kind of go hand in hand with a Technomancer, as its tier 3 mod just sets this one kind of apart from a lot of the other weapons in the game. But don't worry too much about the damage numbers. If you have a little look, the item level 75, the damage numbers are ridiculous. These are probably placeholders, but the rest of the stuff should be on point. So this one comes with crit damage, skills life leech and healing received. That's really going to help you out as you tackle those enemies. Not only that, but I've also seen it in action and it shoots at green flaming skulls. It looks absolutely awesome. And because it's an assault rifle, it's going to have a nice little clip size going on about it and be quite easy to use. Like I said, the tier 3 mod on it is Stigmatise. Successful shots inflict toxic and mark the target for 5 seconds. Killing the marked enemy causes them to explode, dealing, I'm just going to go with a big amount of damage in a 6 meter radius, and marks the enemies caught in the explosion, with a 5-second cooldown. The tier 3 mod is absolutely amazing when you see it in action, and there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to have a lot of screaming skulls going off, as well as a lot of toxic explosions due to this mod, and a lot of damage coming from the Technomancer tree. Just over from there, the tier 2 mod you get with it is Damage Link. Shots link up to 4 enemies, sharing 30% of their weapon damage dealt and 15% anomaly damage dealt, with a 1-second cooldown. This could be really nice, especially if you're spraying and praying a little bit. You could link everything up and then there could be quite a few explosions going off everywhere. Just after that, and we've got Grand Opening. Landing a hit with the first bullet in a magazine creates a powerful explosion. Again, like I said, the numbers I think are definitely going to be a bit adjusted because this says over 9 million. That's just way too high at the moment. No doubt when it's released these will all change, but the damage will be in a 5 meter radius with a 3-second cooldown again. This gun looks amazing. You should very much use it for multi-targets rather than just one target, as you're going to be linking things up. It's very much going to be about area effects going off, crazy damage, group explosions and a lot of fun with it. Next up, and we're going to be jumping over to this double gun right here, the Charred Lance. Double guns are really good if you like to have a massive clip size. This one's got 80 and the rate per minute is very high as well. Now, as you can see, for the attributes you've got armor piercing, skills life leech and status power. So this one's going to be very good for anyone who's liking a status build going on. The mod for the tier 3 is just crazy. This gun is all about having a beam of death just absolutely pummeling your enemies. So as you can see, tier 3 death ray aiming down the sights forms an anomaly beam that deals a set amount of damage every 0.3 seconds when in contact with an enemy. Very much a focused fire gun. You're going to want to stay on that same enemy until their health is depleted and then move on to the next one. The tier 2 mod is Resistance Breaker. Shots decrease your target's resistance by 35% for 6 seconds with a 1-second cooldown. This one means that you're going to be able to break their resistance, you're going to be able to hit them with a bit more anomaly damage and such, and it's going to be quite fun because you're going to be focusing that damage with the beam as well. And last but not least, the tier 3 is Judgment Enforcer. Shots mark enemies. When reloading, deal 10 times your weapon damage to every marked enemy. Marks are removed when you change your weapon. This could be quite a fun one to use because at first I thought this was going to be just completely focus it on one enemy, but it looks like you could probably strafe left and right or just pick up a few adds as you go, and then when you do reload you're going to get a bit of extra damage on all of them. So that's quite an interesting mod to have on this weapon. Now I'm guessing with all of these guns, don't take it as gospel yet, but you'll probably be able to replace just one of these mods, so bear that in mind because you'll be able to change them up a little bit in order to personalise them and make them your own. Jumping over to a sniper, and we've got the Decadence. This one right here comes with crit damage, skill life leech and status power. Now, snipers weren't the most commonly used in the base game, to be perfectly honest, but remember, with all of these, even if they're not the weapon that you're going to be using, look at the tier 3 mod on it, and that will tell you if it's something that you want, because you may well break it down to put it on a gun of your choosing. The mod for this one is going to be Relativity Theorem. Critical shots reduce one random skill cooldown by 10%. That is actually pretty amazing, I'm not going to lie. It has a 2-second cooldown, but with the right build, if you're all about using your anomaly damage, this could be very fun. I can definitely see that mod being something you'd want to put on a weapon if you've got a big damage anomaly build, so this gun could be one that's quite sought after. Now, the next mod over, this one's actually been changed, so I'm not entirely sure what would have gone here, and I'm not sure if this is one I change it to as well. It's Moaning Winds. Reloading creates a strong blast around you, dealing a massive amount of damage to enemies in a range of 8 meters. This one looks like it's been changed to me because it shows the little symbol there, and I don't know how that'd work on a sniper anyway, because you probably want to be at a bit of range. So unfortunately I can't show you the mod that comes on this one as standard. Next up, we've got Burst of Decay. Critical shots cause explosions that inflict toxic on enemies within a 5 meter radius with a 3-second cooldown. You're probably going to want to be all about headshots if you're picking this weapon, so this will be going off constantly, and if you're hitting them at range, it'll be quite fun to watch a lot of them get a crit headshot and then the toxic explosion going on the rest of them. Jumping over to the next one, and we've got Final Penance. I have a feeling this will be one of the most popular weapons in the game. Definitely for its tier 3 mod, but it looks awesome in itself. But it's a double gun again, so nice and easy to use. It comes with crit damage, long range damage and skills life leech. But the tier 3 mod on it is absolutely insane. Critical shots grant a 10% anomaly power bonus for 10 seconds and stacks up to 4 times. Now, it's been a while since I've played the original Outriders, so you're gonna have to bear with me in case I'm wrong. If I am, drop in the comments, but I think this may well be better than Death Shield when it first came out, because I think that was 30% anomaly damage, and that one got a nerf. So this may well be the big boy you want, especially the Mage's Rage mod, to put on one of your weapons if you're going for those anomaly builds. 40% will be a really big increase, and it'll be a lot of fun to see, and I think it works well on this as standard. The tier 2 is Anomaly Enhancement. Receive a passive firepower boost equal to 40% of your anomaly power. That's going to go hand in hand with the Mage's Rage, making this a very well-rounded weapon for damage from your firepower and your anomaly power. And last but not least, Ravenous Locust. Shots create a swarm of locusts, dealing a huge amount of damage over 6 seconds and inflicting weakness. The swarm affects all enemies within a 6 meter radius of the target while it lasts, and with a 6-second cooldown. That is definitely going to be one of the guns I aim for, as I love anomaly builds and I think it's going to hit like an absolute truck. Next up, and we're going over to a handgun this time, and it's a revolver, the Lumberjack. This one comes with armor piercing, status power and healing received. The tier 3 mod on it is absolutely amazing for keeping you alive, and that's Essence Extractor. Successful shots on enemies afflicted by any status restores 5% of your max health. Each active status applied to the target multiplies the amount of healing received with a 3-second cooldown. This mod will almost definitely be on anyone who wants to survive, and they're going to chuck it on a fast-paced firing gun such as an LMG or maybe even an assault rifle, and that mod's just going to be crazy, especially if you've got a build like it says that involves any status effects, such as a Technomancer with Toxic for example. Really good. It just depends how tough the enemies are going to be. If it's a very difficult game, this may well be one to look out for. Improved toxic bullets comes as standard. That means the shots are going to inflict toxic on enemies with a 4-second cooldown, and the last one is legendary minefield. Critical shots spawn explosives around your target, each dealing a big amount of damage in a 5 meter radius with a 3-second cooldown. Jumping over to the next one, and it's another sniper rifle. We've got crit damage on this, long range damage and healing received. The mods on it is Slashing Twister. This I've seen in action, it looks really cool, kind of a spinning blade effect going off, and it does quite a nice bit of damage. Successful shots create a tornado that lasts 8 seconds and deals a set amount of damage every 0.5 seconds. The effect gets larger over time, with a 6-second cooldown. That's quite awesome to see. It kind of places it on the floor, it spins around, it hits enemies, it looks really cool. The tier 2 mod is Improved Weakening Bullets. Shots inflict weakness on enemies with a 4-second cooldown, and And the third mod is going to be Concentration Blast. Critical shots cause enemies to explode, dealing a set amount of damage multiplied by the maximum number of 4 enemies within a 6 meter radius around the original target with a 3-second cooldown. I didn't use this one too much in the original, but if you got high enough damage shot off, there's no doubt in my mind that that would do some absolutely devastating damage. So jumping over to our next weapon, and we've got a shotgun, and that one is the Thunderclap. This one is just kind of screaming at Trickster to me all day long, and it looks pretty amazing. It comes with crit damage, close range damage and healing received. The tier mod that's on it is Nikola's Revenge, which I'm guessing is probably an Easter egg to Nikola Tesla because it's about electricity. The shots link up to 5 enemies within a 4 meter radius around the initial target, dealing a set amount of damage over 2 seconds to each of them as long as the initial target is alive. That's going to be an absolutely amazing one to see. I'm wondering how much health they're going to have in this new DLC, because a lot of times you are trying to pop that initial target really fast. So whether or not this one works well will probably be determined by their actual health pool. Next up, we've got Storm Whip as the tier 2. Shots bring down lightning on an enemy, dealing a set amount of damage with a 3-second cooldown. And lastly, Concentration Blast. That's going to work hand in hand with Nikola's Revenge, because critical shots cause enemies to explode, dealing a set amount of damage multiplied by the maximum number of 4 enemies within a 6 meter radius around the original target. It looks like it's giving you a little buffer. The first and the third mod kind of do the opposite. One wants them to still be alive, the last one wants them to be completely popped. So no matter what, you will be doing quite a bit of damage with this weapon, as it's going to be great for low health and that high health target. The next gun we're coming across is going to be the Sunfall, and this is a submachine gun. This comes with weapon life leech, status power and skill life leech. The tier 3 mod on this I've seen over on Twitter again. When they released it, it looks absolutely awesome. Firestorm. Successful shots summon homing Firestorm that deals a massive amount of damage by the looks of that number and inflicts burn to the enemies within its radius over 8 seconds. The radius of the Firestorm increases with each successful shot on the afflicted target. It's a really cool thing to see this in action. It reminds me a little bit of the Hammer of Dawn from Gears of War. It's that kind of effect going off, and it's following the target you're shooting at, so really awesome to see in action. But it does have a massive 10-second cooldown, so that is definitely something to think about. The resistance breaker for the tier 2 shots decrease your target's resistance by 35% for 6 seconds, and life and death. Killing shots creates a blast that restores 20% of your max health to players. That's going to allow you to keep shooting and getting a bit of health back, so it's quite a cool mod to have on this weapon. Now last but by no means least, we're coming to this one, and I think this is going to be one of the most sought after weapons because of its tier 3 mod. This is an LMG. I absolutely love the look of it, and that's the Mythos. The attributes is the armor piercing, close range damage and healing received. The tier 3 mod is just crazy. Omen. Shots launch a cover piercing anomaly projectile that inflicts bleed, deals a set amount of damage, it looks like it's quite a nice bit of damage, and applies a status that increases damage received by 30% for 3 seconds with a 4-second cooldown. I think that's the big thing about this weapon. That's almost going to constantly be up because you've only got 1 second kind of leeway between it. It could work on almost any weapon. You're going to have a bleed effect, you're going to have the extra 30% damage going off on the target. This I think is going to be one to watch out for. Also comes with a tier 2 striker, 10% of critical damage is returned to you as health with a 3-second cooldown. And lastly, Essence Thief. Shots regenerate your health with a 1-second cooldown, meaning this weapon is going to be crazy good for doing a big bit of damage and just getting your health back as you go. I could really see this as a fun one to use on its own, or by putting the Omen mod into another weapon of choice. Right, you gamers, that's the 9 weapons that I know of at the moment. I'm sure there will be more things released with the DLC, as well as some of the armor sets. If you'd like to see the armor sets, I'll chuck that video top right now for you to click on. But as always, hope you enjoyed. For all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you on the next day.